Hey guys, this is Whitney, and I have from Spastic Chatter, and I have a I have an exciting new thing that I'm diving into. Uh, I'm doing a series now that focuses on a certain topic, and the first Spastic Chatter series that I'm doing is called the Baclofen Series, and I'm gonna interview people that have the Baclofen pump because, as you heard in the last episode, the Baclofen pump has truly changed my life. So I want to feature other people's stories to be a resource for those considering the Baclofen pump, and for those that have the Baclofen pump, that they can know that some of the symptoms they're having they may not be alone in it. So for my first guest for this series, I have Aldelly, and just stalking her Instagram and things like that. She seems like a really cool person.
Girl.
So, so I'm gonna let Aldelly introduce herself, and then we'll get on
Yes,
to the conversation.
sure. So my name's Aldelly. I've been diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica. And even though it's a mostly optic neuritis kind of disease, it's really affected my lower half of my body. So it's spasticity and things like that. And within the years of getting diagnosed, my spasticity got really bad. Like it just kept creeping up to my torso. And so I was kind of in denial of a baclofen pump for 2 years until finally my family convinced me. And here I am pumping it out.
Yeah, that's cool. So what did you like try before the vacuum pump? I'm sure you tried a lot before you had
Yeah. So of course they start you off with pills. The baclofen pills. I don't even know these names because they're so long. I tried tizanidine, I tried all types of pill, and they weren't really working for me because my body didn't know how to process it. So I would get a whole bunch of GI issues. I
yeah.
would get sick. And so it was just too much for my body to process. And then I moved on to Botox injections. And then we tried the Botox injections, especially to my legs, my hamstrings, and all that stuff, because it was at this point preventing me from walking. I was walking with crutches. And then I did that for about 2 years, and the spasticity kept coming up. I literally would wake up and I looked like an L. I would say like an
Yeah.
L, because like this would be my leg, and then my upper body would be like sideways. And then my pain management doctor was like, "You need to try the pump. I'm telling you." He's like, "Just try the injection and see how it goes." And I'm like, "No, nobody wants a pump in their stomach. That's
Yeah.
disgusting." And so my husband went with me to that appointment. He's like, "Let's just try it. You've already done everything you can." And so I tried it. And I'm such like, I feel like my body's such a baby because any little dose is like a lot for me.
So you're not alone.
Yeah. So when I got the trial, I think the most you can get is like a 50 milligram injection. I got a 37.5 and I couldn't walk for 24 hours of how
Yeah.
loose I was. So it definitely worked, but it worked like too much.
Yeah. That's I can I can like I can relate on when I was, granted I got the pump 13 years ago, so I kind of have to think back to a time where I didn't have the pump. But I've done Botox, I've done phenol, I've done it all, and like nothing, I could get no relief. So they tried me on the pills first, and I don't know about you, but I was having to take the pills three times a
I
day, and like,
I got so sick. I couldn't do it.
yeah, and like if you miss a dose, like your body, you really feel it. And like I remember in high school, because I was a senior in high school, my pharmacy for some reason refused to fill it, and I went through withdrawal from the pills, and that was miserable. So
It was, yeah. I never experienced withdrawals per se because I never was able to fully get the full scope of actually taking the pills itself because I would always get so sick so fast.
yeah,
But like I've never gotten the withdrawals. I the initial taking of the pills like just made me so sick. So I never got to the point that my body got used to it.
yeah. So you didn't like, because taking the pills versus the pump, like the pump is like night and day. The pills were just like a tease, and then like the
Yeah.
pump is like the real deal. But like when you're talking, you talked about your trial. Did you get a spinal headache with your trial?
So with the trial, I actually, okay, I almost died that day, first of all. I got a spinal tap and I got the injection at the
Oh,
same time. So I've only done a spinal tap once before it and I didn't get the headache. And then the second time I did the spinal tap, I almost died because you have to be awake for that. And I'm just like, oh my God, hurry up. And like, I'm just like, oh, and so I didn't get a headache, but I did get both of those things. So my back was really sore from having, all that being done at once. But I didn't get a headache. And then it's crazy because when I got the actual pump, I was bedridden for like 7 days because of the spinal headache.
yeah, like I got a spinal headache from the trial, and it was miserable. Like I couldn't, like we're talking like the worst headache of your life. Like, and I had to go back and get a blood patch. But so you didn't have to, after the pump, you didn't have to lay flat on your stomach for 3 days.
Can you repeat that again?
So like when I got the pump, to avoid, so when I get the pump, like when I got the initial pump and they mess with the catheter, they make in Texas, or I guess my surgeon or whatever makes their patients stay in the hospital for 3 days afterwards and lay flat on their stomach so that they don't get a spinal headache.
Okay. So for me, basically they were kind of like on a let's see what happens with you. So some people got to get home the same day. Some people have to wait one day. I supposedly was supposed to just initially be in the hospital overnight for one night. And it ended up being I was in the hospital for a whole month after.
Really?
Because I totally get it. I literally the first day of the surgery, I had to go use the bathroom and they made me sit up on the bed. And as soon as I sat up, like you can feel the rush of pain coming up and like the nausea and that the throwing up. And I was like, something's wrong. And like my husband who was with me at the time, he's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, you don't even have a second to explain to them. Like it's the pain is so intense.
But it's like when you lay down, you're fine. It's as soon as you sit in the upright position, like it is like it feels like you're dying.
Like I had to literally lay flat. I couldn't even come up 15 degrees because as soon as I came up 15 degrees, you can feel the pounding coming. So I had to lay down flat for like 5 days. And then after the 5 days was when I was able to slowly like bring the bed rail up and up and up. I lost so much weight. I had to have obviously a catheter put in because I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. I didn't go to the bathroom to do number 2 for 7 days. My hair was matted. I was a mess. Like, and then I got the surgery during COVID in November.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't even have like a visitor like come and help me at least comb my hair, like because they're just so short. Not that they're short staffed, but there's always just so busy. And so like when usually you have a family member go and they'll help you feed you or they'll help do your hair. I didn't have that because of COVID. So I was really going through it by myself. And I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the first time I talk about my experience. I haven't even blogged about it because it's been so traumatic for me.
Yeah. Well, you're like in your baby phase. So like I don't want to scare you. Like like the pump is amazing, and I call it the miracle pump because of what it gave me. But there are like so many cons to, like, you have to really weigh your pros and cons of what you're feeling, because um having it for 13 years on myself, like there's so many cons that I wish were
Somebody would have
different.
told you.
Yeah, I wish were different. Like for instance, I've gone through withdrawal with the pump, and trust me, you pray that you don't go through withdrawal with the pump, because the medicine is the pump is 100 times worse going through withdrawal than the medicine.
Are
And
you on a high dose?
yeah, see, I'm on, or I think I'm on the medium dose. I'm almost at I'm almost at 1,000, at 1,000 whatever they call it. I don't know.
Yeah, milligrams or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, something like that. I'm not a doctor. I don't know all
I don't
the,
know the terminology either,
yeah.
girl.
But in my experience, you might not be able to answer this, but it seems like the longer you have the pump, the more like your body seems to get used to the backbone. So you have to like go up and up and up. Have you experienced that yet?
So I'm in a very low dose.
Yeah,
Like when I first started, I was at 25.
yeah, that's very low.
Yeah. And then once I got out of the hospital, I was at like 35. And then the spasticity, like I just couldn't, I don't know, like, you just can't find that sweet spot. And I felt like I needed more. So he ended up giving me like an extra boost at like
Yeah,
nighttime. And
yeah,
basically it was,
I have that too.
but that extra boost literally knocked me out. Like I was
Mhm.
sick for a week. I was wheelchaired because it was making me
Yeah,
too loose. So then I went from 50, then I went back down to 40. And then at 40, I still just couldn't do a lot. And you need some spasticity still,
yeah.
right? So then I went back and I'm back down to 30. So I'm like at a very low dose. So I'm literally like
I think that's
creeping up.
interesting. I think
I'm
that's
like,
interesting.
yeah, and it's crazy because like even though it's 10 milligram difference, like I can feel it. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God, this is too much. So right now I'm at 30.
yeah.
And actually tomorrow is my first pump refill ever. So I'm like,
Oh, you haven't got it. You haven't got it refilled yet. Oh,
no, tomorrow's my first.
it. You're gonna be okay. Like we'll talk about that. We'll just get into that right now. Have they told you anything about the refill? Like,
No, and I really don't even
yeah.
like I'm not even asking. I don't really know. I kind of want to go in a blindfold and just
Oh, so
okay,
do you want to know, or do you not just do
go
you?
ahead, tell me. Tell me what I need to know.
Okay, it's not bad, but okay. Do you have a, like, I'm covered in tattoos, but do you have a tattoo?
I do not.
Okay, well then they have numbing gel. You might ask if they can give you numbing gel, because then you're not gonna feel it. But it just feels like a ant, like a little bitty ant sting in your stomach. Like it's not bad.
I mean, I can take pain. I just, obviously we went
They're
through a
gonna
spinal headache.
Oh, and then yeah, this is a piece of cake. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna lay you flat. They're gonna lay you flat on the table, and then they're gonna fill around for your port, and then they're gonna give you a shot in the port, and that's basically it.
Okay. Well, because I'm such a low dose, my refills are like every 6 months or something of that
Yeah.
nature.
See, mine are every 3, and you bring up a good point that I think it depends on like your disability, because with cerebral palsy, I am so spastic. Like my entire body is a board. Like you can tell like when I'm talking, spasticity affects my lungs, it affects my face, like it affects everything. So
Everything.
I think that's why I'm on such a high dose, is because I'm
Yeah.
so, where is your, I'm curious, where's your catheter placement?
So I don't really know the specific, but it's in my lower back. The pump is on my lower front abdomen, right side. So it's literally like it's really low. I don't really know the specific of like the
Yeah,
number.
yours is low. See, mine is at C4, C5. So
Oh, that's high.
mine's in my neck. And like do they well, for those of you that don't know, they like the pump is like the size of a hockey the size of a hockey puck. And I've talked to people where do they put it in your muscle or just underneath your skin?
So I got a little joke on that, girl. So when he was bugging me, right? Because he was like, you need to get the pump. You're gonna need it at one point. I was like, listen, I will get the pump if y'all do a liposuction at the same time. Because I'm like, here we are opening up my stomach and all this fat, and you guys can't even at least make it look good.
Yeah.
So they just were laughing. They thought it was, funny. But I'm like serious. Can you guys do a liposuction at the same time? I'm like, you're gonna make me look fat anyways with the pump. That's just me being joking with them. But they placed it right under my skin and right on top of the fat. So it's literally like you can feel it, but it's not so close to me where like I can feel it inside of me.
See, I'm totally like different. I don't know because it was 13 years ago or like my size. I was like 90 pounds when I first got it. They put it underneath my muscle. So I have a pocket. They created a pocket
In your
for
muscle.
in my muscle, and it's like I don't know about you, but it sticks out pretty far. Like you can definitely see.
So yeah, like mine sticks out if you really look at it, but it's not like I've had two kids at this point too. So I have like that mommy pouch. So it kind of blends in with my mommy pouch kind of per se. The lower abdomen, but it doesn't like stick out like, oh, you can obviously see where my pump is.
Yeah,
Only if I really like show you and tell you and hey, feel it up. But most people that I've showed, like most of my friends and family, like I can't even see it if you didn't say it.
yeah. I see mine. I'm totally different. Like you can tell.
Well, I'm sorry, if you saw my Instagram, I posted a picture of my stomach, and even on my stomach, like you can see the where the surgical
Yeah,
part was done, but like the pump itself, like it's pretty well hidden. And I know now that you said the muscle thing, I know that they like sewed it into the muscle so it doesn't move. So it's
yeah.
like under the skin, on top of the fat, but sewn into the muscle, if that makes sense.
That's cool. The so you don't have a problem like wearing jeans and stuff with it, or yeah, I
No,
do. I
so
can't. I can't wear jeans because it literally hurts to because it sits right on the jean. Like
on the jean line.
I
So
can't wear
I've had
jeans
to,
with jeans.
yeah. So I've had to kind of change my style of dressing. So now I'm like all about high-waisted jeans,
Yeah,
high-waisted pants. Most of my pants come up to my belly button, which is in style anyways. So
yeah,
it's like whatever. But no, I don't have any problems with it. And actually, I feel like the tighter I wear the pants around the pump, the less I feel it because it's
yeah,
not like cutting off on the pump itself. It's more like the pump is here and the jean is like a little bit more on top. So for me, it hasn't been like a fashion problem, I guess you can
yeah.
say.
Have you had any other side effects? I I could go on. It affects my bladder. It affects my GI. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was at that high point that I had previously mentioned, at that point it affected my bladder and it affected my GI and it affected everything. But it was because I was basically overdosed on it.
yeah,
It was too much on me. But now that I'm back to like a lower dose for fit for my spasticity, I already had bladder issues as it is with the neuromyelitis optica because
mhm,
it affects your neurogenic bladder and everything. So I really didn't feel a difference. I only felt a difference when I was too high on the medication.
yeah. I think for me it's like the higher dose you have, the more your bladder and your bowels are going to be affected. Because I had to get on bladder spasm medicine because I was having accidents because the urge to pee was so bad, and then they turn around and I have to be on like a bowel program where I have to take I either have to take laxatives or Metamucil, or I don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I sat through a whole concert paid. Okay. I was not about to miss my concert, girl. I sat through a whole concert paid because of my bladder.
Yeah.
So I get Botox to the bladder as well, and that helps me tremendously. I do take laxatives because again, the spasms do happen out in those areas. But I've always advocated for the whole Botox to the bladder, especially for us for us women. Like we can catch an infection so quick down there, right? So what this Botox to the bladder has done, it basically has helped me to go when I need to, like obviously it'll tell, like my brain will be like, you need to go to the bathroom. But the Botox to the bladder has also helped me have a prolonged amount of time where like I can sleep through the night. You know what I'm saying? Because you couldn't sleep through the night.
Because I can totally relate to that, because the higher the Baclofen dose, I was waking up 2 to 3 times a night and like having to pee, and that's not safe for me because like I bought all that, so that's not safe. So like I got my pump in a children's hospital because I was 18, and it didn't take, like my doctors, I kept telling them that like something's wrong, like I can't hold my pee, like, and they're like, just wear the pins, like, and it took me going to a new doctor at 30, I think at 28 years old, and he was like, yeah, you have a neurodraining bladder, because of the pump, you need to be on medicine. So he put me on medicine. He changed my life. I don't have to pee in during the night. Like I can go prolonged hours. But like I didn't know any of this.
Well, you know what? This is why you do the type of work that you're doing, which this is why we're so outspoken, so we can be able to help people. Because I can't even tell you how many times people have messaged me like, oh, I didn't know, or what do you do? What do you do for that? Because we didn't know any better when we were going through it,
Yeah.
And so talking to other people is how you learn. But maybe you should ask about that Botox to the bladder. It eliminates taking the pills, and literally,
really?
Yeah, I don't take any pills, and I do it every 6 months. So every 6 months I go in, they put you to, it depends. Sometimes they put you to sleep. Sometimes they can do it in the office.
They'd have to put me to sleep. My legs were like sunshine. So they definitely have to put me to sleep, but yeah.
And they literally, it goes in and they go in, they do the injection to the bladder. You don't feel anything. And you just feel like you have a cramp from a period, and that's it. And then 3 days or 5 days later, you're like, I don't have to go pee. I haven't peed myself. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah. So I have maybe like two other things I want to talk about. I recently came, like I didn't like, because I started at a pediatric hospital. They didn't mention everything that they would for adults. So I'm curious if anyone mentioned this to you. I don't know if you drink alcohol or anything like that.
I do.
Did you know that, because I do too, because but did you know that the higher dose you're on, let me, I'm having a hard time describing
No,
this.
like kind of like the higher the dose you on, the more drunk you get, basically.
Yeah, like I can't drink anymore because I get blacked out drunk. I'll be half a drink. And I asked my neurologist to put it in because we're like friendly. And she's like, Whitney, you need to stick to non-alcoholic drinks from now on, because they give Baclofen to alcohol. Like there's a study where they give Baclofen to alcoholics because because it intensifies
the experience. Yeah, I am
they
okay.
don't
So
drink.
yeah, no, I have limited my drinking for sure. Okay, so I got my pump in November. My birthday is December, and for my birthday, I decided to have a drink. I had no clue how this would affect the pump. Girl, let me tell you that I had to get a wheel. I was walking with a walker, and I'm like, you need to get the wheelchair. I can't even walk. I'm like done. I'm done. Go get me some fried food. Like I'm done. But yeah, I've noticed myself that when I do have a drink, I have to drink very slow. And like with I what I do now, and I'll just give you this trick. I have my drink and then I have a sparkling water or something like water, and I'll drink my drink and then I'll drink sparkling water. I'll like exchange because I'm like, I love my margaritas. I don't want to give them up.
Because when I pride my podcast on being uncensored. So if anyone wants to skip this part, feel free, but I'm gonna keep it real. Like like again, I got my pump at 18. So I went through my whole college experience fine, and I partied in college, like, but I could do like 2 to 3 drinks and I'd be done. And then I got this, like, I knew that I was a lightweight, but because of the pump or whatever, so I knew it. And then I got my pump. They went up my pump this last time, and I've hit my max threshold. And I was drinking with my fiance, and I'm telling you, have a drink. I was like blacked out, and he was like, "What is going on?" Like, I don't understand. I was like, I guess it's because I just got an increase, and like then I messaged my neurologist, and I was like, she's like, "Yeah, Winnie, that's because you're at a high enough dose now where you can't drink."
So yeah, I've definitely experienced getting drunk faster than usual.
Yeah.
It's a little fun, but it's not that fun.
No.
It's like I'm like, I want to get to the point of like feeling nice slowly, not this fast.
Yeah.
But like again, I'm just, I guess I'm relearning how to drink, right? Because now you need to find that drink that like is okay with you drinking it slowly. So I've gone again for my birthday where I needed a wheelchair because I was drinking straight up sangria, like sangria, like straight, like, yeah. And then obviously I was like, all right, eliminate that. And then the next day I drank like Bailey's, and I'm like, all right, let me try this. Let me try a beer, but then the beer makes you go pee. So let me not do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I've just been on a like, it's kind of an elimination alcoholic diet. And so I figured at this point, I'm to the point where like I can drink one margarita with like a sparkling water, or I can do like shots, but then I have to do like 2 bottles of water and not drink for like the rest of the afternoon or, the rest of the time. So it's relearning how to like drink, right?
Yeah. And like, we're not endorsing drinking, but this is just a part of our life that we like to enjoy. But
well, we're young.
Yeah. With all that said, I would not take the pump back for anything. And I know you're in your baby stage, but can you relate to that? Like, would you? Do the pros outweigh the cons?
I'm still in that indecisive stage because my doctor did tell me, please give it a year before you decide what to do. I mean, as soon as I got the pump, instantly I saw the difference. You know what I'm saying? I felt the difference. I was able to sleep through the night without having to jump on a spastic moment.
Yeah.
I was able to wake up, and I'm able to do things now that I kind of wasn't able to do because I was spastic. But I've also I'm relearning how to live, basically. So I'm relearning how to walk. I'm relearning how to I just went up the stairs a month ago. Like with the spasticity, I was doing stairs, but it was like I looked like a penguin going up. Like I wasn't really bending.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting like that full range of motion.
Movements are more fluent and not so rigid because of spasticity.
Yeah. So I'm still indecisive. I like what I like what it's doing to me so far. I like how I guess I'm more, I wouldn't say I'm more living because obviously with COVID, like nobody's doing
Yeah.
anything anymore. I'm very indecisive though because I'm on such a low dose. I often wonder what if I can take the pill and not get sick, you know?
Yeah.
So I right now for me it's more pros, but at the same time I'm still like such a low dose. I wonder if I can just do this with the pills, but I'm not sure. But everything you put your body through with this surgery, like, do you
Yeah.
really want to go
And
back?
not to mention that you after 6 or 7 years you have to do it. You have to do it again.
I'm not
Oh,
looking forward to that.
because well, this is like we could talk forever about this, but like I got it replaced once, and I'm having it replaced again in June. So I'm like freaking freaking out because of COVID, and I don't know, like, so
Well,
that is a
yeah.
con.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about getting it done every six couple of years, right?
Like 16
Um,
years.
yeah, like that part that I was just like, oh my God, like can we just combine surgeons and have like a liposuction and the thing at the same time? But I'm just joking. But I'm just like,
I know.
that's like a con. And having to get it refilled every certain amount of months kind of like brings you like slays you down to like, oh my God, I can't even like enjoy a full-on like vacation because I got to come back and think about that I have to get this filled. And I don't know, I think it in a way you're kind of enslaved to the pump.
Yeah, I totally get that. Um, okay, so we could talk about this for hours, but I so at the end of every Spastic Chatter episode, I ask people if they have any advice for others. Do you have it? But for this series, I'm gonna ask people, do you have any advice for those looking to get the pump?
I do have advice. Don't wait. Don't wait. I waited 2 years. I went from limp walking to like basically walking in crutches before I decided to get the pump. And had I done it sooner, maybe I wouldn't have gotten so bad. And had I waited more, maybe I would have gotten worse. We don't know, right? But my real biggest advice is if you're being advised to maybe consider the pump, maybe just do it because they're not going to be the first. They're not going to be the last. Several of us have gotten it and it is life changing. Just don't wait too long. Like for those of us who have a diagnosis that's slowly creeping up, don't wait. Just try it.
That's awesome advice. So, Adele, where can people follow you on social media?
So I'm on Instagram at fab_NMO. I'm on Facebook at FabNMO. And I also have a website where I blog on my own time, and it's www.fabnmo.org. And I just talk about different things that people with NMO go through. Again, I haven't really spoken on the Baclofen pump yet. So here I am talking about it. And yeah, Fab Animal on YouTube too. Fab Animal, my story about how I was diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica.
That's awesome. I will put all of that in the description. And thank you for being my first guest on the Baclofen series. Um, if you're watching this and you have a Baclofen pump, or considering if you're in one of the stages and you want to share your story, feel free to reach out to me wherever you see this video. And again, thanks, Aldelly, and
Thank you.
back next week for another episode of Spastic Chatter. Thanks.